Everything changed in a matter of seconds. I mean, picture it. The final whistle blows, the confetti is raining down, and just like that, the Seattle Seahawks have completely shocked the football world. They rode this historically dominant defense all the way to a Super Bowl victory, but, in the National Football League, the celebration is remarkably short-lived. The exact moment you reach the mountaintop, the clock starts ticking, and the foundation of your championship roster immediately begins to crack. Welcome to NFL Nexus. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. Before we unpack the dramatic, high-stakes decisions currently facing the Pacific Northwest, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and support the incredible work we do here by becoming a channel member. Seriously, your membership is the engine that allows us to keep bringing you these intense, premium deep dives. Okay, let's roll the tape and see what's really happening. So while the Seahawks front office is currently locked in a room dealing with the cold, ruthless mathematics of roster survival, there's this massive shadow looming over the franchise. An undeniable distraction. We're talking about a 10-time Pro Bowler, a former Super Bowl champion, a guy whose exit from this very city was surrounded by just an unprecedented level of bitterness. And let's remember the exact cost of that exit, right? The Denver Broncos sacrificed 2 first-round draft picks, 2 second-round draft picks, 3 core players, and ultimately absorbed a staggering, historic $85 million dead cap hit just to endure the fallout. Now, whispering through the social media landscape and local reports, a totally startling question is emerging. Is Russell Wilson actually pushing for one last, desperate ride with the defending Super Bowl champions? The implications of this for Seattle's delicate cap structure are, well, they're staggering.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. Post-Super Bowl roster shifts. 2. Seattle's best-kept secret. 3. The rookie challenger. 4. A ghost from the past. 5. The crowded QB room. And 6. Future over nostalgia. Let's get started. Section 1. Post-Super Bowl roster shifts.
The very moment you hoist the Lombardi Trophy, your roster becomes the target of literally every other franchise with open salary cap space. Success breeds attrition, it's just a fact. Just look at the brutal economics of this offseason for Seattle. Safety Kobe Bryant, the enforcer in the backfield, gone. Edge rusher Boya Mafe, he commanded a massive 4-year, $72 million contract from the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, you simply cannot match that kind of outside money without destroying your cap sheet. And cornerback Rick Woolen, a total lockdown presence on the perimeter, departed as well. These were the structural pillars of a historically elite defense. But the Seattle's front office, they didn't panic, they calculated. To replace Maffe's edge-bending win rate, they brought in veteran Dante Fowler Jr. at an absolute fraction of the price. To fill the void left by Woolen, they looked to the draft, picking up Julian Neal out of Arkansas, a corner who posted elite man coverage grades in the SEC, and Andre Fuller from Toledo, a total physical specimen with a blistering 4.38 40-yard dash. It's a masterful, cost-effective reload. Actually, scratch that. It's brilliant. But the most glaring hole, the most dangerous vacancy, was the safety position left by Kobe Bryant. Section 2. Seattle's best-kept secret. So, to fill that defensive void, head coach Mike Macdonald didn't mortgage the future on some blockbuster trade. He looked into the absolute depths of his own depth chart. Enter Ty Okada. Now, this is the gritty, unseen reality of the NFL that we love to talk about. Okada, an undrafted free agent out of Montana State, spent 2 agonizing years living on the razor's edge of the roster. We're talking about waking up at 5 a.m., taking scout team reps against a Super Bowl starting offense, and making the practice squad minimum salary, all while simulating coverages against receivers making $20 million a year. He was essentially a nameless body to the rest of the league, just fighting week in and week out to avoid being cut. But when his number was finally called, he didn't just step in, he completely anchored the secondary. When you analyze the metrics of what Okada actually produced, the narrative completely flips. Starting 11 games in the 2025 season, he recorded 65 total tackles and 1.5 tackles for loss, proving he could step down into the box and stop the run. He added 6 critical pass breakups. But the defining moment, the play that absolutely cemented his value, was his massive fourth-quarter interception. I'm talking about a diving, over-the-shoulder pick against Brock Purdy in a hyper-tight, divisional dogfight. He read the quarterback size from a too-high safety shell and completely closed off the passing lane. That is incredibly high-level processing. Bleacher Report literally labeled him the team's best-kept secret. But, this is the National Football League. Loyalty only goes so far.
Section 3. The rookie challenger. Waiting in the wings, totally eager to steal those starting reps, is a player who represents a massive financial and draft capital investment. The Seahawks spent a premium second-round pick to ensure an absolute war for the free safety position this summer. The battle lines are drawn. On one side, you have the battle-tested veteran Tai Okada, armed with deep system familiarity and a lightning-fast trigger when diagnosing run schemes. But squaring off against him is Bud Clark. This is a prospect out of TCU boasting a massive 32-inch wingspan and sub 4.4 speed. Clark doesn't just cover ground, he brings what scouts graded as the elite ball tracking skills of this entire draft class, which he proved with multi-pick performances against high-octane Big 12 offenses like Texas. When McDonald dials up complex nickel and dime sub-packages, he needs elite range. This clash, the gritty, fundamentally sound veteran versus the hyper-athletic, highly drafted rookie, is going to define Seattle's training camp. When you pull back the layers on this roster, you really start to see the defensive architecture taking shape. Building undeniable depth through hungry rookie contract options like Okada and Clark is mathematically the only way a champion survives the brutal exodus of free agency. It's a quiet, highly disciplined approach to salary cap allocation. You preserve cap space for premium positions by drafting and developing the back end. It's focused entirely on the future. And that is exactly why the rumors swirling around the Pacific Northwest right now are so utterly jarring. Section 4. A Ghost from the Past. The headline that has absolutely sent shockwaves through the entire NFL landscape? Is Russell Wilson making push to join Seahawks in 2026? Now, this isn't just idle chatter manufactured by the media. Wilson was recently in Seattle, making highly visible appearances. He took to Instagram, posting photos with the Space Needle in the background, specifically captioning it with heavy praise for the city and typing, "Always love the 12s." Come on, the timing of this is completely calculated. Veteran players are eager to latch onto Mike McDonald's championship culture, and Wilson, standing at the absolute twilight of his career, appears to be making a highly orchestrated, very public push for one last ride. But to understand why this rumor is so incredibly divisive among the fan base, we have to trace the undeniable on-field collapse of Russell Wilson since his departure. It started in 2021, culminating in a trade that left the Denver Broncos financially ruined. I mean, taking that historic $85 million dead cap crater just to formally release him. He managed a decent, if completely unspectacular season, managing the game in Pittsburgh in 2024. But then came 2025 with the New York Giants. It was a staggering fall from grace. Picture this. It's a freezing November game at MetLife Stadium. A completely stagnant Giants offense sees Wilson formally benched for a third-string quarterback, and he's walking to the sidelines as his own home crowd boos him off the field. A former king officially relegated to the absolute bottom of the depth chart. And now, he's reportedly seeking redemption in the city he left behind. And here is the harsh, inescapable reality that completely grounds this entire fantasy. 38. That is how old Russell Wilson will be during the 2026 NFL season. The physical decline isn't a debate anymore. The advanced metrics are brutal. We aren't just talking about an aging player. We are looking at a quarterback whose sack percentage skyrocketed past 9% last season because he completely lost the burst required to beat edge containment. His scramble yards per attempt have plummeted to career lows. He can no longer outrun defensive tackles, let alone linebackers. The extraordinary mobility that literally defined his Hall of Fame trajectory is gone.
Section 5. The Crowded QB Room.
This brings us to the immovable obstacle standing right in the way of this Hollywood fairy tale return. The Seattle Seahawks are not a desperate, rebuilding franchise looking to sell tickets. At the top of the hierarchy, you have Sam Darnold, the man who just led this franchise to a Super Bowl victory, demonstrating absolute command of Ryan Grubb's offensive scheme. Behind him is Drew Lock, a deeply trusted backup who has mastered the playbook and proven he can win games in a pinch. And rounding out the room, Jalen Milroe, a young, intensely dynamic weapon with 4.3 speed out of Alabama. A raw talent that requires crucial first-team practice reps to develop into a future starter. So you have to ask yourself, where exactly does a declining, immobile 38-year-old fit into this highly optimized equation?
The answer is, he doesn't. Adding Russell Wilson to this 2026 roster is not just a matter of signing a veteran minimum contract and calling it a day. The salary cap and roster mathematics are entirely unforgiving. A 53-man roster means a zero-sum game. To make room for a nostalgic superstar, the front office would be forced to cut or trade either Drew Lock, exposing reliable depth to the waiver wire and incurring a dead cap penalty, or they'd have to cut Jalen Milroe, actively sacrificing cheap rookie contract control and stunting the development of a dynamic young talent. You are literally being asked to cannibalize your meticulously planned future just to appease a ghost of the past.
Section 6. Future over nostalgia. The Seahawks organization stands at a critical crossroads of philosophy right now. On one hand, you have the undeniable PR benefits, a special retirement tour, massive media publicity, standing ovations, merchandise sales, and a chance for the quarterback to finally mend fences with the Pacific Northwest. It sounds perfect for an off-season documentary, right? But countering that is the cold, unsentimental on-field reality. Reports indicate Wilson still heavily views himself as a starting quarterback. Integrating him means risking a massive distraction in a locker room that is laser-focused on defending its title. Think about it. Every single incomplete pass from Darnold would immediately trigger media demands to see Wilson under center. It's a circus they don't need. When you strip away all the emotion and look strictly at the roster mechanics, the sources point to one incredibly logical conclusion. It might be best to give him a one-day contract to retire as a Seahawk. For those unfamiliar, a one-day contract is simply a ceremonial paper signing. It carries zero salary cap implications. It's a handshake, a press conference, and a photo op. It gives him the ceremony, it lets him stand before the 12s, hear the cheers one last time, and retire in the Navy in action green. And, crucially, it completely protects the sanctity of the 53-man active roster. So, I turn this over to you guys. This is an absolutely fascinating clash of team-building philosophies. Will the Seattle Seahawks cave to the massive external pressure and choose the PR spectacle of bringing Russell Wilson back to the active roster? Or will they ruthlessly protect the gritty, highly disciplined, next-man-up culture, the exact culture built by guys like Tai Okada that literally just won them a Super Bowl? I really want to hear your heavily debated breakdowns down in the comments section below. Do not hold back. Let me know what you think they should do. That is going to do it for today's intense explainer. If you enjoyed this deep dive analysis and you love this cinematic style of NFL scouting, please do not leave without subscribing to NFL Nexus. Hit that like button right now to help us push this analysis through the algorithm, and most importantly, support the channel directly by becoming a channel member. Seriously, your membership is the only thing that makes these long-form, highly detailed scouting reports possible. Until next time, keep your eyes on the tape, and remember, in the NFL, the past is history, but the future is earned. See you in the next one.